everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So yes, I have decided I will participate in Junk Journal July 2024, which is hosted by Meg Journals in collaboration with Get Messy Art. Hashtag is Junk Journal July, and you'll be able to find all sorts of fun creators and posts and projects with that hashtag. So that being said, you can find more information down below in my description box about Junk Journal July. I think this might be like my third year, I think, of participating in this. So today is day one, and we are using the prompt Spark. So that being said, what I'm planning to do for this month, I think, is I want to use some kind of a base in my studio that I already have. So you know how we buy things like playing cards, Rolodex cards, envelopes, etc., tag bases, things like that. That's what I want to try to make into like meaningful ephemera instead of just like supply. So I'm going to do that today. And I have a little bit of an idea. I haven't like fully planned this project out, but I do want to, oh, there's a little, look at that leaf. Where did you come from? I've been using this glue book, and yeah, that certainly sparks a little inspiration. It's a really interesting little leaf. I feel like I might just take this page with its little leaf, keep it a little longer somewhere away from here because it's not part of today's project, but I would like to make use of it. Okay, before we come across another one, I'll pull this off. So for our tag, I want to get started just with a bit of paint, and I'm going to use one of my favorite colors, which is this Delta Cream Coat in Paradise. It's just the loveliest paint. So I'm just actually going to go directly from the bottle and take some paint out, and I want to make kind of a bit of a dry brush effect where I want the paint on here, but I don't want to cover the entire surface. And ideally, I have a palette here, but I'm not going to use a palette. We're just going to get messy, right? The only thing I don't really want to paint is that circle. I'm just going to kind of rub, just kind of hug the edge a little, go around. That's good. It's not a big deal if I get a bit of paint. You know what? Let's just paint it a little bit. Okay, get that bottom a bit. Yeah, just to create a bit of texture in the background. So that's that. It needs to go in my pile of brushes that need to get washed later today. I have a couple of those waiting to be washed. So let's just set that right here. Now, the next thing I want to do is I have these two super bright paints, these Liquitex and Amsterdam. This one is Reflex Yellow, and this is Fluorescent Pink. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of each one and plop it down on, again, a piece of paper, because we're just going palette free today for some reason. And I'm going to use the end of a pencil, the pencil eraser, because I want to do a bit of this. And I'm going to go back and forth between the two, and if we get a bit of an orange, which we are, that's just a bonus. So we're just kind of going back and forth randomly. We're creating these little sparks. I think I want more yellow right now than I do pink, and that's okay. And I love the different kinds of shapes and things that we're getting. Lots of fun. Okay, so that is great. Now, what I'll do with this leftover paint, I think, is just kind of a bit of smoosh action. Then move this, lay it right there. And again, we'll smush them together and we'll make collage paper with them. Whee! So that's some nice painty paper. Flip it again and kind of mush those colors a few more times, back and forth and such. And this is how you get fun painty paper. So we'll just do that. Okay, so let's just set those aside. They're just bonus project, I think, for now. I mean, I may end up using some of it. We'll see. I don't think I need it, though. Okay. Put this away. Then I have this image. So this is an image from my Journal Together kit that I make on my Patreon. It is a monthly kit that I do that has usually about 18 pages is what it rounds out to for whatever reason, of eclectic fun ephemera for your journals. And I just love her because I feel like she says spark to me. So what I'm going to do is use her as my focal point, but I think I want to probably emboss this image. So I'm just going to get my embossing stuff and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get our image here. Now I'm going to be doing something a little bit extra with my embossing today, possibly something you haven't seen before, because it's something that comes out of the fiber art world. So I'm using this Emboss It Ranger embossing ink pad, and so I'll just emboss over the whole entire image here. Oops, these are so hard to hold on to. Just make sure we're even. Okay. So now I'm going to use holographic embossing powder. Put this on here. But first, this is called Angelina, and this is the heat fusible kind. So can you see how iridescent that is? So before I lay down my embossing powder, I'm going to add a few strands of this around the edge, not over her face, but just around the edges of this piece. Okay, now we'll go in with the embossing powder. And yes, I know it's going to make it a little harder to dump it off because I have all these strands. It's okay. I'm not stressing about it. What I'm going to do, I think, is take a book page, like so, and just kind of like crumple it up. Oop, that's way too weak. Maybe I'll just use my pencil. And I'm going to pick it up, flip it, and pick it up again. And then I want to take all the Angelina that might have fallen with me. But see, I want some of it under the embossing powder. So where I would normally clean up everything, I'm not going to right away because I have to now get this back here. Come back. Okay. This pencil has gone through many things today. Okay, so yes, it's still trapped under there. That's good. Now I'll get a little more Angelina because I want some like under and some on top because that's part of the experiment here. So now we need to actually emboss. So let's just make sure that this is, yeah, that's okay. We've covered that up. Always make sure that your powder and your ink are covered again before you start blowing things. Now, why did I want this? Because see, it's gonna blow away. Okay, so I need to do this differently. I'm doing an experiment, don't freak out. Let's just take this, don't be scared. Then we can again take our excess embossing powder because now we know it won't do what we want. So that's okay. I'm gonna just take this page and also dump it. Get rid of all the extra embossing powder. Pull it off. We have all the Angelina just to the side there. So let's emboss this first, okay? There's the magic. So sparkly. Okay. Make sure it's fully embossed. All right, now I'm gonna do just a quick little like clean up and then we'll come back. Okay, so now we have this holographic embossed card, right? So next step is incorporating that Angelina. Now, I didn't do a prototype today, so this is kind of a experiment rather than like, you know, a full-on tutorial, but I think it's going to be fine because I did test out this a little bit. So the biggest concern with the Angelina when we try to fuse it is that it could blow away, because normally you fuse it with an iron or something like that. But what I'm going to do is use a glue stick and just go around the edge here where I want it to be. Now that we've handled the embossing powder, right? That's sorted. So come back in with the Angelina. We didn't lose it, it's fine. Thankfully, it's not as messy as embossing powder, so like you don't have to be as concerned with like it blowing around and stuff. And also we can glue it on with glue gun, and that's great. A little bit more here. Now this stuff can clump a little. But it's not too important. You'll see what happens here. I kind of have it in my mind. I want a bit of clumping and a bit of like laying down flat. So we're gonna come in from the top here and just kind of blow it all down. Blow it, blow it, blow it. And that's what's gonna cause the fusing to happen. And then you're gonna see the clumping happen on the edges, right? Around where it is. Now, if you start to notice a bit of it, it's getting up on her face. I don't want that. I want it only around the edges. Pull it back. Good. Then come back in with your heat, blow it the opposite direction. And you'll see a web will begin to form here. See that webbing? See how it's kind of melting a little? Okay. Just come in and make sure. Okay, we're all fused. So now, take this off here and you see this fun web. So what's next is control the floaty away pieces just by hitting them again with heat. You know, just kind of go around and around. You don't gotta like go really hard on it or anything. And you can keep doing it until you get it crushed down like that rather than floaty like that. But I'm just going to, I think, well, I'll do a little more. Hold on. Get it down a little more. I want a little bit of it floaty, but not too floaty. Okay, so now we'll come back to our tag. Remember our tag? And we're gonna add this onto our tag. And I have to just decide now how I want to do this. I'm thinking what I'd like to do is using stitching. I want to go around and around this circle and also probably the square and then also the tag itself, all in the same color, like maybe like a red or something. And that will kind of bring it all together. And then I will come back. All right, so stitching is done. So you can see probably I went around 2 times. I have red in my sewing machine and yellow in my bobbin. So I left some threads. You can see now on the back how I did the stitching. So twice around, and then twice around. So we'd have like 2 kind of whimsical lines. So now what I'd like to do is come in with some art glitter glue and a couple of little laser cuts from 49 and Market. These are just little floral pink laser cuts, and you'll see in just 2 seconds. Just got to glue them all down here. These are so delicate. And what I'd like to do is just put them here. Then the other one, which is the same. Just glue all those little tiny attachments. Right here. So it sort of like completes the framing. Just give it a press for a moment there. Just gonna lay it down. This will just allow any of the glue and the paint that's left over on here to kind of get sploshed onto something. Okay, so then the only other thing that I would really like to do, I think, with this is to handle the backing. Because we did, you know, stitch on it, I think it would be nice to just back the backing with a bit of paper so that it's nice and neat again. So just go over it with a bit of glue stick. And I am going to use paper bag because I love paper bag. Just lay that whole thing down. And the only tricky bit is making sure you don't cut off that webbing as you clip around here. Just kind of go underneath it because you don't need that to be backed. You want it to still be see-through. And move your threads if you don't want to cut through them, obviously. And again, just lifting your webbing, just pull it over. It's very flighty and flexible and strong now. And again, I'll just hold the threads up, trim the bottom. Okay. Then I'll just come in. Give that a nice smooth. And you can certainly stitch around again if you'd like to. I don't think I will though. I'm actually kind of comfortable with it like that. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will. One moment. Okay, so she's all done. Day one, Spark is in the bag. And you'll notice, see, almost looks like a bit of an oil ring here. So, and you see the clarity in her face. So one very cool effect with the holographic embossing powder is when you heat it, you get this holographic shine, but when you overheat it or you continually evenly heat it, it actually takes away the sparkle, but it keeps the, you know, embossed matte surface, and it leaves this fun like oil ring. That was something that I noticed a long time ago when I was playing with this stuff at first. At first it was like, oh darn, I overheated it and I lost my sparkle, but now I use it in specific ways. So if I want to use an embossing powder, I want it to be, you know, iridescent like this, but there's like one part I want to have more focus on, like in this case her face, then I know I can come in with just a little more heat and I can get that kind of focal point right back again. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. See there in the light, this is all like shiny here, but see how her face isn't, so it stays like a present, you know, feature. So now it's all stitched around at the back, and I really love this. We nailed Spark, I think, quite well. She is such a little spark. So thank you for joining me. I will talk to you tomorrow for the next Junk Journal July. Have a great day. Oh, and don't forget to poke your hole back out here with your hole punch from the backing. Okay, bye for now.